So it looks like Fani Willis might have to actually answer for some of the crimes she committed during this whole RICO case in Georgia.
First, the Court of Appeals ruled that she's disqualified from leading the election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump and his co-defendants. And now a Fulton County judge has ruled that Willis can be subpoenaed by the Georgia Senate.
Yes, it is about time. You guys tell me, you think Fani Willis is gonna have to actually answer for something here? Some of that lawfare she engaged in? How about that New York prosecutor Alvin Bragg? Breaking. Judge rules Fani Willis can be forced to testify under oath about crimes she committed during RICO lawfare case against Trump.
The judge's ruling lets Georgia Republicans demand more information on DA Fani Willis's romantic relationship with the special prosecutor she hired.
A Fulton County judge earlier this week ruled the Georgia Senate can compel Fulton County DA Fani Willis to testify or turn over evidence on whether she engaged in misconduct in her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump and his allies.
What do you think they're gonna find?
Should state senators investigate her?
They have every right to investigate high-profile issues in this state.
A Republican-led state Senate committee back in August subpoenaed Willis to testify amid accusations she improperly benefited from her romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade.
How connected do you think their relationship is with the case?
Willis argued state lawmakers don't have that power.
The Georgia State Senate has the authority to issue subpoenas, and Georgians must respond to them.
Brian Robinson is a Republican strategist and a panelist with Fox 5's The Georgia Gang.
I do foresee her being drugged in front of a Senate committee to answer questions that she doesn't want to answer.
Judge Shakura Ingram is giving Willis the chance to argue if her documents are protected and state lawmakers are going too far.
What is her argument? Is her argument that she doesn't answer to state lawmakers? Is her argument that she's above the law? She went subpoena me. Excuse me, I am the prosecutor. I am the law. Excuse you.
Yes, the Republicans can subpoena the district attorney. But what she did not say in her ruling is that District Attorney Fani Willis had to turn over any documentation that has been requested.
DA Willis has until January 13th to present her arguments on the subpoenas.
You guys think there's going to be some accountability, or you think she's going to weasel out of having to answer for any of this? Court rules Georgia lawmakers can subpoena Fani Willis for information related to her Trump case. Look at this picture they got. Oh my God. The article's boring though. A judge ruled that the Georgia State Senate can subpoena Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis for testimony and documents related to its investigation into misconduct during her witch hunt of Donald Trump. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Shakura Ingram ruled that Fani Willis has until January 13th to respond to her order over whether the state's committee's subpoenas seek overly broad information. The Republican-led Senate committee sent subpoenas to Willis in August, seeking to compel her to testify during its September meeting and to produce scores of documents. The committee was formed earlier this year to examine allegations of various forms of misconduct by Willis, an elected Democrat, during a prosecution of Trump and others over their efforts to overturn the former president's 2020 election loss in Georgia. The resolution creating the committee focused in part on Willis's hiring of Wade to lead the prosecution against Trump and others. The resolution said the relationship amounted to a clear conflict of interest and fraud upon the taxpayers and the state. Interesting, because I'm wondering how related it actually is to the Trump case in general. Just wondering if even if they weren't having a relationship with each other, if anything in this Trump case would have played out any differently, given the fact that they are both just hyper TDS, hate Trump, can't stand him. As previously reported, Fani Willis is trying to block subpoenas requiring her to testify before a Georgia State Senate committee about her relationship with Nathan Wade after she was caught perjuring herself. Fani Willis had an illicit affair with Nathan Wade, the top prosecutor she hired to hunt down Trump in her RICO conspiracy case against the former president. In February 2024, Willis testified under oath that her relationship with then top prosecutor Nathan Wade had ended months ago. Willis skipped the hearing in September, even though she was subpoenaed by a special state Senate committee. Let's please note for the record that Ms. Willis has failed to appear in her compliance with a subpoena and has failed to produce documents she requested, subpoena chairman Bill Kosert said in September. Kosert added that the committee has hired outside legal counsel to assist in the enforcement of the subpoena. I'm wondering, what if the Trump derangement syndrome is what brought them together, man? What if they were like, man, we got so much in common, dude? The Republicans-led committee was unable to question Willis about her misconduct related to Trump's RICO case and affair with Nathan Wade because she was a no-show. Fani Willis was subpoenaed for documents related to the hiring and payments made to Nathan Wade, as well as communications between the two. The committee had also subpoenaed Fani Willis for documents related to her office's communications with the Biden White House and Justice Department about President Trump. That's the stuff I care about. That's the stuff that's important to me. What's going on with that? Is she trying to hide that? Fani Willis's lawyers asked the judge to declare the committee's subpoenas void and block them from enforcing these subpoenas. The lawyers for the Georgia Senate committee argued that Fani Willis used the wrong legal arguments to challenge the subpoenas. Last week, Fani and her entire office were disqualified from prosecuting Trump in their lawfare RICO case. The appeals court did not throw out the charges. However, Fani Willis and her whole and entire office has no authority to proceed. The Georgia's appeals court disqualified Fani Willis because of an appearance of impropriety. They said a glaring appearance of impropriety. Here's the White House DOJ weaponization of lawfare angle they're trying to hide by focusing on that relationship.
He also, this is how stupid this guy is. This guy also billed for 2 meetings he had with the White House staff, one with the White House counsel for like 8 hours, and then another 8-hour meeting at the White House before Fani Willis brought this indictment against President Trump. So that makes it very clear President Biden and his White House are lying when they said that they didn't have any communications with any of these Democrat prosecutors like Alvin, Bragg, and Fani Willis before they brought these unprecedented charges against President Trump, this election interference, because Nathan Wade billed for those meetings.
And that also completely indicates to me that that was on the job. That was a part of the job. He was billing for meetings with the White House. He was working on this case. So wouldn't the conclusion be to any normal person that he was billing for hours working with the White House on this case? And there's the Alvin Bragg connection too. And here it is from the House Judiciary Committee. Mathew Colangelo, a former senior Biden Justice Department official, is a lead attorney in the political prosecution of President Trump with Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. And that's so interesting. Didn't they extend the statute of limitations twice on the charges? And didn't they use COVID as an excuse when they didn't use that for anybody else? Interesting. And given the perception that Biden's DOJ is assisting in District Attorney Bragg's prosecution, Chairman Jordan has requested communications and documents related to Colangelo's previous employment at the New York Attorney General's office, where he worked on several anti-Trump investigations. The fact that a former senior Biden of DOJ official whose previous employment consisted of leading a wave of state litigation against Trump administration policies is now leading the prosecution of President Biden's chief political rival only adds to the perception that the Biden DOJ is politicized and weaponized.
On it, Mr. Attorney General, but you had no problem dispatching Mathew Colangelo. Who's Mathew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Mathew Colangelo. Mathew
Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration. Without having been Senate confirmed, goes and gets this senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by the DOJ.
I'm saying it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
Well, do you know how he ended up there?
I assume he he applied for a job there and got the job.
But see, you know what?
I can tell you I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legals to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, Our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him. And meanwhile, the judge is making money on it. The judge is making money on it, or the judge's family is making money on it for stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. You know, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe it. It's going to create great disruption. And I am saddened by it because, like you, I have given my life to the law. I care deeply about the law. And I think that the lawfare we've seen against President Trump will do great damage well beyond our time in public service.
Whether it's connected or not, this revolving door of activist lawyers and judges and politicians, it's tearing our country apart. Ugh. Hey, thank you so much for joining me for another episode, guys. I appreciate it. I got more episodes coming out today, and other videos are just like this too on the left. Thank you so much. Music, playlist, there's other videos. Pretty cool stuff. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you.